Man. It's a good morning out here. Feeling nice and relaxed. Back porch chilling. So, the name of this podcast is The Inside Perspective. And I call it that because I speak about different topics, nuances, whatever, and give my inside perspective. But everybody has their inside, perspective. So eventually, I'm gonna have my friends on here, my gang, local people just doing good, doing right. What? Sorry, y'all. Watch. It just started going off. Messages over and over. Let's put this phone on. Creating do not disturb mode. Do not disturb is great. Highly suggested if you don't already. We got different modes set up for different things, but let me get back on topic. Yeah, so like I want to have my people on here, have them talk about their stuff and how they feel about certain things. And even if we have difference of opinions, like it's their inside perspective. So you have to at least honor them by listening. As a fellow human being, go ahead and listen to that. But yeah, and so one of the things that have been on my mind and my spirit, honestly, for like the past 2.5 years of a healing journey that I decided to set forth on, which involved sex. Sex for me, I think for a while, just very physical, and I was truly detached from my body. And because of that, I felt like whenever I started to open up different parts or different sides of my body, let me think of how I'm trying to say this. So it's like once I started like learning different vulnerabilities of myself, I realized how uncomfortable I started to feel in sex. Like even the participation, the thoughts, the action, like, and then I still found myself doing it. So then that's when I realized I was real disconnected from my body. I only keep pausing because these birds, these animals are active this morning. They are active, and I swear I keep seeing this chickmunk. But nonetheless, I feel like now where I'm at currently, I'm building on my sexual confidence. And when I spoke to a couple of my friends about, my journey and what I was going through and what I was experiencing when I was having sex, they were kind of speaking to it too. So I figured it could be a larger conversation that would need to be shared, because that feeling's not great. It doesn't feel good to be in those moments of whenever you're supposed to be, deep diving, exploring into pleasure, that you're feeling shame or like you shouldn't be doing something, or just discomfort or uncomfortability. And so, facts, I needed something to drink. Mouth is dry. So to start off the conversation, I want to speak to the fact that I had to forgive myself. Like whenever I started off on this healing journey of sex, it started with me, well, one, realizing I was addicted to sex. But there's no, like, I was talking to my therapist about it, so there's no true, like, diagnosis of this said thing. Like there's just, I guess, you take this test, if you score above a certain level of points, then you have the characteristics of somebody that has an addiction, attachment to sex, whatever. And I was already aware of this just because of how I use sex. Like when I was sad, I want to go have sex. When I was mad, I want to go have sex. Happy, like it didn't matter, but I always used it as a coping mechanism. And then sometimes I'd even be like, does my body even want to have sex? And it's just like, well, fuck it. I have the opportunity to, so I might as well. And although like the sex probably would be good, like it's not like I'm out here just like bad sex, but like it was just regular. Like it felt just like going through the motions. It wasn't what I'm currently experiencing, to put it that way. And so once I registered that and finally spoke to my therapist about it, she had recommended that I go on a sex cleanse. So that was 31 days, no sex, no masturbation, no thoughts of sex, no sexual books, like, because I read and I also write erotica. So she was like, none of that, none, like, just completely done. And whenever I told her, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do that. And she was like, when do you want to do it? I was like, oh, yeah, like probably whenever I get home, because I'm at school. And she's like, why you going to wait until you're home? And I'm like, well, she was like, because it'll be easier. Go ahead, say it. I was like, okay, you got me. You got me. And it was right. There was a lot of, I guess, not a lot. Let me not drag it. There were options at school. And at the time, that wasn't something I was willing to give up. And because I was so stressed out from all of my tasks as a student, as just think about all the other work that I did on that campus, but nonetheless, definitely just lost train of thought. Oh, because I because I was going through so many stressful things on campus and tension was constantly building. That was one of the ways for me to release tension. I wasn't going to the gym as much, but when I did, I got a good workout in, and I would try to use that as an alternative, but I still would end up having sex with somebody later that day. But after I registered that, I knew that I use sex not in the greatest way, and my therapist also showed me that these are tendencies of somebody who has a sexual addiction. It made me really want to say, and then I also wasn't enjoying sex to the way that I knew that I could. Like, I'm out here giving mind-blowing orgasms, and then I'm, waiting to have the same thing back. And I would never really blame my partner. It was because I knew it was more something that was up here mentally with me because something was blocked. So in those moments, it showed me that maybe I actually didn't want to have sex. I was just doing it because the opportunity presented itself, or my partner wanted to have sex. And so I don't like that. It didn't feel good on my being, to say the least. And so I ended up taking my 31 days. Whenever I knew I was returning back to school the end of that month. So I think it was in February. Yeah, it was February. So I was doing it. I was doing great. I was doing a really good job. And then I got back on campus and I had seen a certain individual that made me throw all that shit out the window. But I held on strong, y'all. That's all I want y'all to say. I held on strong. I completed my 31 days. And the biggest difference that I noticed during those 31 days is that I had so much time to think about other things. Like, I had not realized how much of my spare time, my spare thoughts were made up of me thinking about sex or fantasies of sex, looking, wondering who'd be interested in sex. Like, it was just a constant thing. And so I was like, yeah, bruv, I need to really, I'm glad I was able to take that step back and see, like, okay, this is something that I really shouldn't be putting that much time into. And so I started actually going to the gym more often. I was journaling, really focusing on like my communication skills, because like I'm always a person I wanted to talk with my body. And I have no problem like verbally communicating, but like saying the whole thing, like not just skimming the top and hoping that I won't hurt somebody's feelings enough and they'll never want to be my friend again. So getting over that, and so I was able to just see so many things, and that was one of them. So I was like, that means like my self confidence really isn't where it should be, and nor is my confidence in like the relationship if I'm feeling this way. But I had to really think like, is this something that I'm making up in my mind because I'm anxious? You know, so keeping all of that in mind, and now looking at sex again, like whenever I reopen sex back into the possibility, I really had to slow step myself. I felt like I was really just like, okay, yeah, like yeah, we can kiss, like kiss is good, this is cool, and then they go start to reach into touching, and I'm like, oh, wait, hold on a second, like pause. And so that let me know I just wasn't ready yet, and there were other parts of my healing journey that I needed to do. And so after I realized that it was because I was so disconnected from my body and myself, I had to sit down. I also was taking like a yoga and principles of movement class, and it was like so right on time for me because I really needed to reestablish a connection back with my body. I was just like, I just sorry, I had a moment of thinking back of just how I felt. I just felt so empty before I was able to finally pour into myself. Just sitting on the ground and learning the fundamental principles of movement, push and pull and core and expanding, just all of those tiny movements. It was a beautiful reintroduction back into my body, and that's when I started to fall in love with me again, and not just for the gaze of others. Like I can get on Snap, take a good sexy flick, like I can do that, but then it's like, do I really feel that connected to the picture itself? Like, or am I just doing this to get some attention? Which is fine too. Nothing wrong with that. But for me, I wanted a deeper connection with myself. That's what I was craving. That's what I'm still craving and enjoying, honestly. And so after learning the movements of my body and the stretching and the strength and the possibilities and capabilities, I started to feel more comfortable going back into sex. But I also knew that I needed to explore deeper of what I actually enjoyed in sex. Like what turns me on, what makes me squirm, what makes me quiver, like really getting deep into understanding, like I know what my body likes, and I know it so much so that I can explain it to somebody else while they're doing it. Like that's where I wanted to get to. I was tired of having the meaningless, like, oh yeah, I did this because I saw it on porn. Which honestly brings me to another point, which I feel like is another thing that people get shamed for in their sexual encounters, is like people be expecting shit to look like porn. Like porn is a production. That's like idealized perfection sex. Well, not really idealized, but like how people may see, like society may put to be ideal sex is what they see on porn. And that's just not realistic because it's literally a production. They're cutting, action, rearranging, moving. Like they could do that, like because it's a production. That's what they want it to be. And so, really, don't skew your mindset or your brain towards that, because it's just not realistic at all. Just wanted to make sure I added that in there. What was that before that? That felt good. There it is. Yeah. Learning my body was very important. And so once I felt like I mastered that enough, and that was me learning how to romance myself, even to get, I was like literally thinking to myself, like, what makes me horny? Like, how can I turn me on? I've just explored, tried a bunch of different stuff. I take myself out on dates. Give my own self a massage, read a book out loud, hearing my own voice, like I'm almost like talking to myself, like reading the story to me. I enjoy very intimate, deep connections is what I realized. Like that's what stimulates me and turns me on the most whenever I'm able to get the most vulnerable part of someone. Like they feel so comfortable in sharing that with me. Like it turns me on that you find safety with me. And once I connected that with the physical, that's whenever the mind-blowing orgasms started happening and the confidence and me showing that I'm finding pleasure from what you're doing to my body. Like I'm a mover, I'm a talker, I'm a shit talker. Because I realize I like all these things. Like these are things that I like to do. And so don't shame yourself for like any kinks that you may have. Like your body loves what it loves. You enjoy what you enjoy. And so if you find desire in something, explore that. Don't let no one or nothing like, and if anybody has ever made you feel bad or like made you feel like you were nasty or dirty or whatever, fuck them. Like you kind of have to forgive them in a sense, because it's just like, all right, cool, like that's how you want it to be, got it. Like I'm just gonna move on from it. Like that situation was what it was, but I know that I'm not shaming myself, and you probably are shaming yourself for the things that you enjoy, and that's why you're treating me like this. So stop projecting. You have to ignore all that societal bullshit that people try to tell you, like who you're supposed to have sex with and how you're supposed to have sex with them. Like, please ignore it. Boo! I'm throwing tomatoes. I'm throwing fucking bricks. Actually, like, don't listen to none of that shit. Whatever you find pleasure in, deep dive, nose dive into that shit. Like, just keep learning and exploring. And if you can find a partner that's willing to learn and explore with you, that's whenever that shit gets really popping. Because now it's just the two of y'all or the three of y'all or more. You know, I do not judge. And you're learning what makes each other blow. Literally. And what more could you ask for? Like, sex is a pleasurable activity, so you're gonna want to get like the max pleasure that you can every time. And it's okay if you try something and it's not what you like you thought you might have enjoyed it. You might hit them with the, oh yeah, no, I lied. I actually don't like that much because I like when you do this better. You definitely gotta learn how to talk your shit in your own way that you say it. Like that's what I understand, because I was out here trying to follow that societal bullshit of like how I'm supposed to like talk to somebody in the bedroom because I'm a dominant presenting person, blah 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 blah, all bullshit. Telling somebody how you want something done probably will turn them on. If they get offense to it, like, again, fuck them. But if it's somebody who's really interested in your pleasure, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, I heard you, and they're gonna do that shit. And then like, this is this what you like? Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I like. No, I feel like it really comes to like where I'm at right now is I'm able to allow a side of me that I had suppressed for so long, trying to coexist in whatever societal norm I was trying to participate in. Like, it feels good. It feels great, fucking immaculate. Like, I'm able to I was able to unlock different levels of pleasures within myself. Like whenever I would masturbate, like I could definitely find that on my own. But now sharing that with somebody and then them doing everything in their power to ensure that they're pleasing you in that manner and taking care of your body. Wow. Like not only taking care of your body during sex, but they're taking care of your mental during sex. They're taking care of that spiritual side of you during sex. Like they're not just there for the physical. They're deeply entwined in all forms of your pleasure. That's the kind of sex y'all want to be having. Don't just be out here fucking just to fuck. That shit's lame. Well, shit, lame to me. You may like it. That's fine. I mean, if that's what you want to do in your life. That's what you want to do. I mean, I was there too. But for me now, just the type of sex that I've been deep diving into, and I'm not saying I'm in love with these people either. Like, you don't gotta be in love with somebody to have that deep, intimate sex. Now, will somebody fall in love? Potentially. That's always a potential. People fall in love in friendships. So don't allow that to make you feel bad neither. Just make sure that you are two people or however many people communicating about how you feel. If you need reassurance, if you need a check-in, hey, I need a check-in. My feelings is getting a little whimsical. I'm starting to feel a little something. Talk about that. Get it up out your system so then you can decide whether you still want to start, if you still want to keep having sex with this person, or if maybe you should revalue, or revalue, is that the word? Reevaluate. There it is. Reevaluate your relationship with them, like the term, I call it the terms and conditions of the situationship. Maybe you should kind of figure that out. But yeah, that's my perspective on sexual confidence. I guess to give a little wrap up. In order for you to feel comfortable and confident in sex, you have to release your shame. You have to reconnect with your body. Apply that knowledge by playing with yourself, masturbating, figuring out all the things you like even before foreplay, sex, aftercare, like knowing and understanding what you want, and also knowing and understanding that of your partner as well, because you're also having sex with somebody else. Like, yes, you want to be satisfied, but also, satisfy that person as well. And that can come with you asking each other questions before sex, like, what do you like? What gives you most pleasure? What makes you drip? Anything. And yeah, and allow sex to be pleasurable, to be joyful, to be, we all know whenever that shit's rocking. So enjoy that and allow your body to express that. Allow your words, your moans, your groans, however you show your pleasure, like, allow that to be seen. And definitely don't feel bad about it. Love that shit. Run with it. But yeah, we're gonna end up dropping more of these. I feel like it's something that I've really always wanted to do, but I was really intimidated by the process of it all, feedback and whatever. But I have to realize that ultimately there's more people that need to have conversations like this and need to hear things like this, to kind of help each other get through this thing called life. But yeah, if you have any questions or like shit, want me to talk about something, my Instagram is honestly HONESTLIY_. DM me. You got my Snap, whatever. It's a community thing, man. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. But yeah, y'all have a good one. Go meditate and drink some water.